We have already talked about the Japanese ancient religion, namely Shinto religion and Buddhist religion, and the insignificant Christian religion and other minority religions. Now we are going to talk about Japanese philosophy in ancient times. Japanese philosophy historically has been a fusion of both the indigenous Shinto religion and other continental religions. These continental religions came mainly from ancient China, such as Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. These philosophical thoughts greatly influenced the Japanese people since ancient times. Therefore, Japanese philosophy was greatly influenced by Chinese philosophy and Indian philosophy, particularly the Mahayana Buddhism, which later became very popular in Japan as Zen Buddhism. This was prevalent in Mitogaku and Zen traditions. These philosophical thoughts were prevalent in ancient Japan as Mitogaku and Zen traditions. Mitogaku tradition emerged when Tokugawa Mitsukuni began to rule Japan in ancient time in 1628 to 1700 AD as the second head of Mito domain. Mito domain was a popular dynasty. It was a time of philosophical thoughts, flourishing philosophical thoughts in Japan. The second head of Mito domain was under the rule of Tokugawa Mitsukuni, and the Mitogaku tradition assimilated both the historical Shinto studies, its kami deities, other rituals, as well as philosophical thoughts of Shinto religion, the Shinto studies, and also assimilated a part of Neo-Confucian thoughts. This is the so-called Mitogaku tradition emerged when Tokugawa Mitsukuni ruled Japan as the second head of Mito domain. This philosophical thought is Mitogaku tradition. The second is the Zen school of thoughts. The Zen is the school of Mahayana Buddhism, prevalent in ancient China, that spread across Japan during the period of Tang dynasty in China. While the Tang dynasty ruled ancient China, this Zen tradition, or the school of Mahayana Buddhism, became very popular in Japan as part of their cultural interactions, trade and other relations. It was during the Tang dynasty, which ruled China in ancient time, that the Zen school of thought became very popular in Japan as part of Mahayana Buddhism. During the Tang dynasty in ancient China, this Zen school was very popular as a Chan Song meditation school. This Chan Song meditation school of Buddhism later became a thought of Zen Buddhism in Japan. In ancient Japan, after the arrival of Buddhism, there became a very revolutionizing effect, which largely helped to form national integrity, national formation, and centralization of power as Japan's capital in Tokyo and other areas. Prince Shotoku and Soga family during the period of the Empress Suiko, Prince Shotoku and the Soga family during the period of the Empress Suiko, propagated Buddhism and planned to stabilize national politics with the doctrines of Buddhism, which mainly asserted on non-violence, aggression, annexation, which was against any kind of aggression, conquering, annexation, amalgamation, etc. Which was against all kinds of unconditional waging wars. And thereby they want to build Japan with a policy of non-violence and doctrines of Buddhism during the period of Empress Suiko. She was a peace-loving empress. The Prince Shotoku was a regent of the Empress Suiko and his family, Soga family. And they stabilized national politics with the doctrines of Buddhism. The later Nara period of Buddhism, there was a period of Nara Buddhism. The later Nara period of Buddhism, particularly in the times of Emperor Shomu, erected several Buddhist Kakubunchi temples throughout the whole country. Kakubunchi temples were the Buddhist pagodas or temples erected during the period of Nara period of Buddhism. And Japan became very popular as a country, and its capital city was Tokyo. And the Tokyo became the capital city of Japan during the middle of Edo period. Actually, Edo is the ancient name of the Tokyo city. Tokyo city's ancient name was Edo. And the Edo period signifies the development of Tokyo city during the Edo period. In the middle of the Edo period, Tokyo city became very popular. And during the Edo period, two divergent philosophical thoughts emerged. Kokugaku and Rangaku philosophical thoughts emerged during the Edo period, spreading Japanese thought and culture, their traditions, their cuisines, their culinary practices, their other festivals, etc., etc. Japanese thought and culture. These thoughts became very popular against Buddhism and Confucianism. These divergent Kokugaku and Rangaku philosophical thoughts was very popular and against Buddhism and Confucianism, which was imported from ancient mainland China. Edo period of intellectuals could not have any positive contact with the Western civilizations. However, the Rangaku thoughts helped them learn about the Dutch language, which opened a window to the Western philosophical thoughts. The most popular thoughts during the Edo period were opened by the samurais, Japan merchants and scholars. The samurais were the rivals of the so-called feudal domains in Japan, across Japan. And Japan merchants and scholars propagated most popular philosophical thoughts. These philosophical thoughts were virtually against the dominant feudal order in Japan. These philosophers severely criticized the Japanese feudal traditions and became very popular across Japan during the Edo period. Meanwhile, the Rangaku philosophers who learned the Dutch language began to study about the British, American, French and other Western philosophies as well. And they began to translate and import these philosophical thoughts in Japan as well. Meanwhile, the Kokugaku thoughts also became very popular during the Edo period, which was largely influenced by positive thoughts of Confucianism and patriotic nationalism. Meanwhile, the other divergent philosophical thought, Kokugaku thoughts, became very popular in Japan during the Edo period, which was influenced by positivist thoughts of Confucianism and patriotic nationalism. These divergent thoughts were very important during the Edo period. Edo actually means the capital city of Japan. It was a period of Tokyo city's development in Japan. And two divergent philosophical thoughts emerged. Kokugaku and Rangaku philosophy thoughts against Confucianism and Buddhism imported from ancient China. These are the Japanese ancient philosophies. Now there are several other philosophies in Vietnam, Korea, other East Asian countries. We can talk it about in our next episode. Yes. Now let me stop this episode.